here's the narrowest, slowest corner on the track, how tight it is on exit. It's very hard to get that one right. And then around the fountain here, this is the most technical part of the track. You can see the bumps and how accurate and disciplined you have to be with closeness to the walls.
For the third time, the NASCAR Cup Series tackled the streets of Chicago right on the shores of Lake Michigan. Welcome into NASCAR Inside the Race. And today we are lucky enough to break down the very technical 12-turn street course with the inaugural winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane, first of all, appreciate you taking the time. It's been an impressive 32 starts. You won at Chicago, you won at Mexico. You're figuring this Cup car out at the road courses pretty quickly. Has it been as much fun as it looks?
It's been a lot of fun, yeah. I've really enjoyed the dynamic of NASCAR races, and even when you have the fastest car, things are not easy. Like, there's so many variables in a NASCAR race, like the stages and the double file restarts and everything. Is very hard to control a race, even if you have the fastest car. So
you said not easy. Chicago, the streets, they're anything but easy. Setting, first of all, I didn't imagine how amazing it was going to be on the shores of Lake Michigan in Grant Park, running down the streets. I know you do that some when you're running supercars, but NASCAR, we had never seen streets. Take us out for this layout, right? So for the fans watching right here, right? Basically, it's 12 corners. Some of it's the park. It uses some very famous streets, probably the most famous Lakeshore Drive right on the shores of Lake Michigan, as well as Michigan Ave, which is kind of the real tight section. 12 corners. Is it as narrow as it looks? Like, overall, when you go there, is street racing and road course racing much different?
Well, yeah, like the biggest thing is the surface changes. You know, turn one is brand new pretty much. I think it was resealed the first year, but then you get out of turn two onto the back straight and it's just this rough concrete with huge gaps in it, and you know, you're going through turn three and it's very bumpy. So yeah, and then the width of the road is very variable as well. You know, on the first half of the track's quite wide, you got a lot of space, and then gets through turn 4 and 5, very narrow, turn 7. So there's so many different challenges with, you know, you enter a corner with almost a highway, you know, 3 lanes, and you exit and you got 1 lane, so, or 2 lanes. It's very, very difficult to know where you're going to be at on track.
Well, I get to cover it this week for TNT Sports, so I'm doing a little homework here with this next ask. But we have your onboard camera from your qualifying lap. Now, real quick before we start it, we'll load it in here. Alternate start-finish line. So for the fan, we're going to start between 11 and 12. So kind of this straightaway up Jackson. It's actually where the restart zone is. So it's a pretty good place to start because it's really where you would really start an original run. So we're going to take you on board with SVG. All right, let me have it, SVG. This is turn 11 heading into what would be the restart zone, heading into 12. Take us for a lap. Yeah,
see, the lap started on the exit of that last corner. Here, it's important, decent straight on exit. This corner is very tricky. It's a hard braking zone, but on the exit, you'll see it's off camber. So you kind of got to leave a little bit more room than you want to the wall, because the track drops away on exit. You see it rolls off there. So it always sucks you out to the wall. In this corner, you have an early minimum speed to get a big run down the back straight. So it's probably the fastest bit on track here.
Yeah, this is exit 2. We're now on Lakeshore. Turn 3 is really this little kink. Is that really a corner or a no-brainer?
It's pretty easy flat, but now it's the bumps. The bumps are the hardest part here. And then turning in, you'll see it gets very narrow, and you're basically from side to side on the walls. And on the exit here, it's very bumpy. You can hear the car bouncing and struggling to track through there.
4, 5, now heading to 6, a left turn, heading actually back towards the front stretch.
Yeah, and then it's a difficult braking zone with no runoff. See, the wall is right there, so, which I found last year. If you make a mistake or you get hit into it, there's no leeway. So then again, here's the narrowest, slowest corner on the track, how tight it is on exit. It's very hard to get that one right. And then around the fountain here, this is the most technical part of the track. You can see the bumps and how accurate and disciplined you have to be with closeness to the walls.
Then we're heading into 11, the right-hander.
Yeah, tight corner to finish. Again, just the biggest thing is the bumps and how you got to have great ride quality of the car and bump control, but also confidence that it's going to stick, you know, because mid-corner, there's some big bumps right in that second last corner, I think turn 10, and if you get it wrong, the consequences are huge.
So as a crew chief, and I was fortunate enough to crew chief for Gordon on the road courses, and he was just so good. And we would tackle the tracks by section, right? So like for Sonoma, there were some corners that, to be quite honest, weren't my problem. I'm like, man, I can't help you here. This is purely up to you as a driver. There were ones at like Sonoma, even Watkins Glen, where I knew I had to give you, the driver, the best chance to attack. When I look at this racetrack, for me, I kind of see two sections, right? I see like 12 through 6, probably all really high speed, all real 90-degree corners. I see all of those passing zones and braking zones. And then from 7 to 11, looking at the map, I'd be like, I don't know, buddy, that's on you. Like, I just don't know if I can make the car better. Is that fair? Or when you're breaking the car down or asking the car to do stuff, how do you look at the track in general?
I think you're pretty close there. The hardest thing with this next gen car is always the trade off. You see the cars are so low to the ground to try and activate the diffuser and get the grip, and you see the rears are low, the cars are very stiff. But at a street circuit with the bumps, you want that brake confidence and you want that grip on braking, but you need that ride quality, as you saw around the fountain and through 10 and 11. It's just so bumpy, so it's a huge trade off between getting that downforce and then getting, you lose grip sometimes, getting the car softer and up. So as an engineer or crew chief, it's a huge compromise, I think, a street circuit. So it's whoever does the best compromise, I think.
Qualifying in the race, same attack, or is there lap time certain places versus in the race you have to just protect for track position?
We always want to start up the front. Qualifying, I think the time here is made really under brakes. Having that confidence into 1 and 6 where there's no runoff. So the consequences are high. You can make a lot of time in those corners, but it can go wrong very quick too.
Double duty. You didn't have that opportunity. It wasn't allowed. For those that don't know, NASCAR first time here was like, hey, pick a series. We don't want drivers to have extra time. You're going to run double duty. You're on my buddy Dale Jr.'s car. You're in the 9. Suarez took the victory lane in a backup down in Mexico City. Yep. So it was a little bit of pressure. Now it ran well down there. I know you're going to be unbelievably fast. Everything you just described was kind of a next gen breakdown. I know it's a little different with the thicker sidewall tires and the 4-speed kind of old H pattern. Are you looking forward to hopping out of one and into the other, back and forth?
Yeah, and I had a really awesome race there last year. Caller gave me a great car, and Kyle Larson and I fought it out for the win, and we're giving each other the thumbs up and stuff. And those cars are really raceable around a track like that. So yeah, there's some good guys in that Xfinity series now. So I just want to be in the battle and have some fun. It'll be really cool. And Connor and I have got sort of matching WeatherTech and Red Bull schemes with, reverse colors, and should be pretty cool to represent those guys. And I'm looking forward to that race.
I wouldn't want to be a spotter because I have a feeling you and Connor will be near each other most of the day.
Hopefully.
That battle with Larson was the best. He had what I think is the highest compliment ever for someone of Kyle Larson's caliber. He said on the radio, he goes, he's just messing with me. He could drive off at every time. So I mean, you had me having a good time, but Kyle felt like you were messing with him, kind of showing him a thing or two. And I guess that leads me into when you look at competitors, and I'm not going to ask you to name names, right, or pick some guys out over others. What is your overall impression, regardless of the ovals? That's what these guys do. But when you come to the road courses, places where you should be, a favorite with your experience level. You had a great battle with Kyle in the Xfinity race. You had a great battle with Busher at Watkins Glen. What's your overall impression of the NASCAR skill set when we head to the streets or to the road courses?
I feel like everyone's very good, but also it's hard to know. Like every time I've been up front, it's different people. You just named a whole bunch of different guys. No one's really elite every week. Everyone sort of nails their setup. So yeah, but everyone who's good, their races are amazing. Like racing Ty Gibbs last week at Mexico, and Christopher Bell or Larson at Chicago. There's guys, and Reddick, when his car's good, he's an amazing road course racer. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be someone who's consistently good, but when they're up there, everyone here's on it. Like, and especially the second year, I noticed a huge jump in competitiveness around the street track last year. So I think this year is going to be even tougher to be up front, and the margins here when you're on the limit, it's centimeters to the wall. It's pretty cool.
I just hope for the dry. We've had a little rain both times. I don't mind the rain. I think it's entertaining. It kind of jumbles up the field. But for me, with the strategist and everything, I kind of want to see green to checkered dry just to see how everybody runs that out. It should be a lot of fun. Let's talk about, it's your third season as far as running races, your first full time in the Cup Series. We just kind of came off the craziness of Atlanta. That place is like nowhere else. Just overall, I think you've done an A-plus job of continuing improvement every time you come to the ovals. How would you rate your year? How did you approach the year? Just give me the sense of what it's like week in and week. It's a long season, no doubt. So what's it like running a full-time year?
Yeah, it is a long year. I don't even know if we're halfway yet, but I've been enjoying every week. I love the challenge. It's good. It's weird to say, but it's good being bad at something and having to improve every week. And I feel like we're making huge leaps. Every week we seem to be learning something and still moving forward. And even at Atlanta, running in the top 10 most of that race was really cool until it went wrong. So yeah, I feel like we're getting a lot better. And as a team as well, sometimes we haven't been that fast. So I just try and match to my teammates. So I got some quality teammates, Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain, and I just try and match those guys, and certainly got a lot closer to them. We started the year, pretty slowly, but I wasn't forcing it. I was just trying to get better every
Yep.
week and not make mistakes, complete as many laps as I could every week. And yeah, now I feel like we've gone through a lot of races where I've been competitive and, pushing towards the top 15 and even top 10 on the weekend. So yeah, the road courses, obviously everyone expects us to be up front, but it's really, really cool to be putting in some encouraging results on the ovals now.
Shelving the road courses, so they're off limits. What other track are you looking forward to? Maybe to go back to a second time, or somewhere that you have learned something different. Like looking back to what you have done and looking ahead, we have a great mix, right? We have Indy out there, which I know that would be different on the oval, right? We have Daytona, we have some short track. We just have all this variety. Do you have a track or two that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, I like the short tracks, and I like the Darlingtons and stuff. The Darlington track is so challenging, but I really enjoyed that. When you do a lap that's on the limit there, and it's so hard because you only get one lap on the tire to really maximize it, especially in practice. When you can run that close to the wall and you feel like the wall kind of saves you with the air, it's baffling how it works to me still, like how you can still drive and how the air works. I'm still learning that every week, but yeah, Darlington's one of the coolest racetracks I've ever been to, and how you move around and search for the grip. I really, really enjoy that. It's kind of like dirt racing, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fun to watch. One of my favorites, Darlington, and the Southern 500 coming up on Labor Day weekend is, it's not the Bathurst 1000, but it may feel like it for as long as the Southern 500 is around the wall at Darlington.
It's
I
a
mean,
long
that thing
race.
is a marathon.
Yeah, I did it last year, and we struggled a lot, but it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool race.
Well, handicap, Will Brown in the field. I know you have a lot of knowledge of Will. He took over your ride when you came to basically America full time. We saw him at Sonoma. I thought he had good pace. Electricals kind of eliminated his chance out there. Driving for Colleague, a team you know very well on the streets. Handicap us. Like, what do you think Will's going to be better at than we expect? What do you think the learning curve for someone who had to do it of taking the next gen car to the streets? Like, and has he pinged you at all and said, hey, what should I expect? What should I be looking for?
Yeah, so I actually spotted for him when he raced Sonoma last year. So I was trying to help him a bit, but this year there's no help because we're competitors. But yeah, I know that Caller can put a really good car together, even though it'll be a third extra car there. The car will still be capable of a great result. But it's going to be hard, It's not everyone's first time there anymore. It's only a short practice, so it's going to be difficult for him. But if he could maybe get in the top 10 and on speed and qualifying, that would be an excellent result. And then the racing, he'll see what it's all about. But he's a very good, capable driver, so he could surprise a few people. But you just never know. This series is so competitive and everyone's so good. It ain't gonna be easy for him, but he's a quality driver, so he could spring a result.
Well, it's not easy, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. I'm going to be up there. SVG is going to be up there again, trying to be the first driver to win two, right? This will be our third trip to the streets. He won the inaugural. Last year, it was Alex Bowman holding off a charging Reddick, actually on drives. It was a captivating finish to that one. Appreciate you taking the time. Safe travels up to the Windy City. There's nothing like the setting. How about that? I mean, you've raced a lot of places. I took for granted how cool it was, especially that first year, because we were kind of getting to dusk and almost the streetlights were literally coming on. It was something like I had never experienced before. What a location.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's kind of like the Gold Coast Street Circuit in Australia, where it's along the waterfront and right beside the city and the massive buildings as well. And yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. And the track's a little bit similar in some ways. So, but yeah, spectacular. And even if it's the last year of it, it's going to be some great memories for me. And hopefully they go to another cool street track next year if they do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
All right, Gold Coast Street Crash. I just put that down on my to-do list. I'll head down there with you. Now you got to show it to me, man. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks. See you then.
Thanks again to SVG. He makes 12 very difficult corners sound simple. They are anything but. Not only is it narrow, but it is rough. So why not put 36 of those guys out there together and just see what happens? You're not going to want to miss it. Coverage all weekend long. You have Xfinity Saturday on the CW. And then Sunday, it's the Cup Series. Pre-race starts at 1 o'clock. I will join my buddy Dale Jr. and Adam Alexander in the booth on TNT. Green flag at 2 o'clock Sunday.